You want me to be what?
Nemean lion.
You want me to be the Nemean lion?
Yeah, what I want you to do is come over here. Follow me.
Oh,
Follow me.
okay.
I would like you to come to be right here and then
No.
just carefully peek out to
Okay.
make sure I'm not here yet.
Okay.
Bend
Should I
down.
tack you in a ball of tawny fur?
No.
No? Okay.
But just take it easy on me because I'm really slippery.
Oh, okay. Okay. Rawr.
Don't attack me too far. I'm scared. Dad, I'm scared. Dad, I'm scared.
You're the one that told me to do it, you goofball.
No, I have to scare you.
You got the sword. You're supposed to battle the Nemean lion.
I'll scare you back.
But swords don't hurt the Nemean lion, do they? You just have to be strong enough. Raw, that's right. Show me those 4-inch pythons.
This is my 4-inch python.
Oh, it
One of
is?
them.
Oh, okay.
One of my arms got cut off, so I had to use.
It's more like 2-inch pythons, really, but yeah.
I killed you. No. Dad, can I be Nemean lion now?
Oh, you want to be the Nemean lion? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Just real quick, and then we'll do story time, okay?
Okay.
I am the great and powerful Heracles. Ah, I'm gonna run, I'm scared. Ah!
I killed
And then he slung him over his shoulder, remember, like this. Ah! And he took him to King Eurystheus. And he flopped him down. Ah!
Skinned me with my own claws.
That's true, he did, didn't he?
Those are my own claws.
Yeah?
These are my claws.
Oh, okay. Now I have your pelt.
Now will you let the real lion go back?
Why don't we do our story time, buddy?
Okay, but little lion wants to go back living free and in the wild.
Oh. Well,
And also your pet cheetah does.
I want to tell you about my story. You know what the topic is tonight?
No.
This is a story about Professor Peanut Butter and the case of the missing Christmas trees. Ooh, the lights are out even. That's special. Okay.
I could turn it out.
Just press the red button. There you go.
We'll need a flashlight.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to make shadow puppets.
Professor Peanut Butter was no ordinary man. In fact, he was known throughout the world as the secret agent guy that could find just about anything. Until one day, a little girl came up to him and said, "Excuse me, Professor Peanut Butter, I work for Santa Claus." And he said, "Really? What can I help you with?" And she said, "Santa Claus sent me to tell you all of the Christmas trees are missing." And he said, "What? Missing? How can that be? There are millions of Christmas trees around the world." And he didn't believe her, so he went over to the Christmas tree forest and he looked and he saw no Christmas trees. And so he went to the next one and saw none. And he went to the next one and he saw no Christmas trees. And he thought, that's peculiar. Where could the Christmas trees have gone? So he started looking for clues, and he went to the empty forest and he found little tiny footprints.
Can I do the footprints?
Yes.
Look. So you need to shine the light.
Okay. And the little tiny footprints didn't look like anything he'd recognized before. He was an expert tracker. They didn't look like deer tracks, they didn't look like bear tracks, and they certainly didn't look like train tracks.
Or cheetah tracks.
Or cheetah tracks, that's right.
Or bunny tracks.
Or bunny tracks. Or even
any track.
moose tracks.
Lion tracks?
No lion tracks either. They didn't even look like I said, not even train tracks. And he said, this needs a magnifying glass. So he got out his big magnifying glass and he looked at the tracks closely and he said, you know what? This looks like something I've not seen in a long time. This looks like a little kid. And the girl said, what do you mean, a little kid? He said, a human. And she said, human? Humans haven't been here for a long, long time. He said, well, I'm telling you, this is a human footprint. And so they followed the tracks, and they kept walking and walking. And at one point, the tracks started to turn in circles, and they got very confused. But eventually, it led to a river. And that river, the tracks stopped. And he said, well, I think I know what happened. This little person jumped into the river. So we're going to have to go to the other side, and hopefully we'll find where the tracks pick up. So they went to the other side, and as they started to cross, something started floating through the water, and they didn't even know. Up behind them, and all there was this little tiny nose, not making a sound. And as they got closer to the end, the other side of the river, they happened to turn around and see this little nose. And he said, run for it! Oh, it's a crocodile! And so they started splashing and splashing and running. The crocodile's getting closer and closer and closer. And right when they started to get out, the crocodile's mouth went like this. Look. Oh, it almost got their feet, but they got away. Luckily. Whew, that was a close call, buddy. And look, lo and behold, there were tracks on the other side from this little person. And so they followed the tracks again, and around in circles they went, and they thought, why is this little person walking around in circles? And they came to a cave. And the girl said, I am not going into that cave. There's a bear in that cave. And Professor Peanut Butter said, well, that's where the tracks lead. That's where we're going. And so they peered inside the dark cave.
I'm scared.
And they saw nothing. And they looked a little more. And they walked in a little bit at a time. And then all of a sudden, they saw two eyes. And the little girl held Professor Peanut Butter's hand and said, is that a bear? And he said, I hope not. And then something went, roar! But it didn't sound like a bear. And the professor said, wait just a minute. What is that? And it said, roar! And he said, I don't think that's a bear. And he got his flashlight out and boom, shone the flashlight in the direction of the voice. And it was a little human. It was a child, about 5 years old. And he was acting like a bear to try to scare them off, but it didn't work for Professor Peanut Butter, did it? And he said, where are our Christmas trees? And the little boy said, I don't know. I've been trying to look for them. I've been walking all over this forest and all through the river, and I almost got eaten by a crocodile even. I'm trying to find the trees. And he said, oh, Professor Peanut Butter said, oh, that explains the circles. You were walking in circles, weren't you? And the little boy said, yes. Also, I'm super hungry. Can I have something? And Professor Peanut Butter said, well, as a matter of fact, I have a jar of peanut butter if you'd like some. The little boy ate that whole jar of peanut butter, and then he burped. And together, they started following the clues to find the missing Christmas trees. Well, as luck would have it, there was one mountain they hadn't checked. They went all the way to the top of the mountain, and they saw smoke coming from the top. And they said, what could that be? So up there, they climbed, and they found this hideous-looking creature who had all of their Christmas trees. And they said, hey, what are you doing with our trees? He said, nobody gets to have Christmas trees this year. And Professor Peanut Butter said, why is that? He said, because I am the goblin of Christmas trees. And I take all the Christmas trees and I burn them up or eat them. Sometimes they're quite tasty. And nobody else can have them but me. And he said, why is that? Professor Peanut Butter said, why is that? And he said, because I didn't have one when I was little. And Professor Peanut Butter said, that doesn't mean you should take all of them. Shame, shame, shame. We're taking them back. And the little goblin said, oh, no, you're not. Or else. And Professor Peanut Butter said, or else what? Or else you'll have to deal with the dragon. And all of a sudden, a big dragon rose up over the mountain and looked over them. And Professor Peanut Butter looked up at that dragon and he said, oh yeah? You give them to us or else. And the goblin said, or else what?
No,
and he said,
be the dragon more. Be the dragon more.
And the dragon looked up and went, roar! He said, and Professor Peanut Butter said, or else, and now the goblin said, or else what? And he said, or else you will have to deal with Santa Claus. And the goblin said, I haven't seen him in years. He's not around anymore. And then, all of a sudden, up behind Professor Peanut Butter rose a big Santa Claus, as big as the dragon. And the two had an epic battle. And Santa Claus was like, pew, 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 threw like snowballs at him, and little elves running around and tickling the dragon, and he'd fall over laughing, and then he'd get back up, and then Professor Peanut Butter would throw some peanut butter at him, and he'd get like sticky jaws, and the dragon's like, oh, I need some milk, I can't, and then finally he just kind of went, ugh. And he had like peanut butter dripping out. He couldn't talk or anything. And everybody cheered. He's like, yeah, Santa Claus won the battle with his pew-pews. He's so cool. And then they took all of the trees back down.
What happened to the elves?
The elves helped. They took all of the trees back down.
But what happened to the hideous creature?
The goblin?
Yeah.
Oh, he got put on ice until he thawed out 2,000 years later to become a creature known as the Grinch. And so the little elves helped everybody get all of the trees back, and they saved some for themselves. They put little holes in them, and they made cookies in them. Those were the special elves. They're known as Keeblers. And then everybody after that was able to have their Christmas trees.
Can I tell you my blink pattern of my fireflies?
Absolutely. Not in my eyes, though. Please, thank you. Oh. What's your pattern saying?
It's saying, blink, blink, stop. Blink, blink, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Blink, blink, stop.
Okay. Is that Firefly Morse code? Very good. Okay. All right, say goodnight, kid.
Actually, blink, stop. Blink, blink, stop. Blink, stop. Stop.